We are in beautiful downtown Dartmouth, and I'm joined by Poet, the owner of Lake City Cider. We're here in her space, and we're talking about something very exciting in cider.
Yes.
There's a new appellation. So my first question is, what the heck is an appellation?
It's a really good question. So an appellation really is about the area. So really when we're kind of celebrating appellations in our ciders here, we're talking about Nova Scotia particular. So red sky appellation is something that can only be produced in Nova Scotia. And really what it's saying is we have this specific soil, we have this specific climate, we get the right weather, we get the right change in weather, like cooler nights and warmer days, which make those really nice red apples. And so appellation really is about where we are. And then the rules around the appellation are created by the committee for the actual red sky appellation. And what it strives for is just to say, this is a little bit of Nova Scotia in a glass, and it's very particular to this one area. Kind of like Champagne, right?
So
Champagne
neat.
is from Champagne.
So, okay, you bring up a couple of good points. First of all, aside from owning Lake City Cider, you're the president of the Nova Scotia Cider Association. Yep. So this is happening across the province.
It is.
Really excited that we have our own appellation. Now, I've heard of appellations. For example, Nova Scotia's very famous appellation in wine, Tidal Bay. That really represents a region, and that is a delicious wine.
It's delicious.
And you come from a wine background.
Yes.
So it's kind of cool that appellation is now in cider. Is that something that you brought in, or is an appellation in cider something that's happening other places?
So it does. It's not. We're not unique in that matter. There are other appellations around the world, but we are the first North American appellation.
Wow.
Which is really nice. So first in Canada, but also first in North America. Yeah. And so, but it's not new. It's not new to cider. It's not obviously not new to wine. And you brought up Tidal Bay, which I think is a great example of taking an industry, because it's also like an industry change. So taking an industry that might not get all the recognition it should get and go, okay, what's unique about our wine? Our area, and so what they found is something that worked for them in the wine, and Tidal Bay just became and elevated the whole wine industry in Nova Scotia.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so this red sky is potentially elevating the cider industry in Nova Scotia, because it means certain standards have to be met in order to create red sky.
Correct,
okay.
Correct. So the committee, it has to go through a blind tasting of its peers, so no one from the associations or who own or produce can be on that tasting panel. We actually partnered with NSCC to do it through their food and hospitality program. So they've been lovely at doing that for us. And it really just creates a standard so that you can only have a certain amount of sugar. Acid has to be in balance. It does need to be carbonated and filtered. It also can't be a wild ferment, so it does need to be kind of a controlled yeast. That way you don't get the influx. And also it allows it to really express the apple for itself. It can't be one singular varietal of apple, so varietal just means type.
Many types.
And so it has to be a blend. And that idea too strikes me like it has to be really a broad representation of what Nova Scotia cider is and not a narrow one. Because if you actually drank 100% say russet cider versus say Mac, they'd be very different. So we want the different red skies to be more like siblings.
Okay.
Right? So they come from the same kind of background, same roots, but yet they have different expressions.
So cool. Okay, let's pour some so people can see what makes it special. It's I imagine it's called Red Sky because Red Sky at night, sailor's delight.
Correct. So really it is a little bit ode to kind of how we got our apples here in the first place. So we got them all by boat, really, and by folks that brought them with them for their homesteads and things like that. But really what you should be getting is just that really nice expression of apple off the nose. Ours has a little bit of honeysuckle. We use Jonah Gold. Jonah Gold is one of...
I could smell the honeysuckle.
Yeah.
I got that. So
Yeah.
it's the rules. We're not allowed to drink on air, but you can get a lot just from smelling.
You can, yeah. And
so what does it taste like? We're going to have to go with your...
I mean, you really do get that nice crisp apple, a little bit of green notes.
Yes.
Again, a little bit of that honeysuckle comes through, and I do believe that's an expression from the Jonah Gold apple itself. And but it's just really lovely. It's crisp, it's clean, great for kind of light fare, great with oysters or like fried scallops, but also really nice with some soft cheeses like brie or camembert.
I love it. And I love that all of your ciders here at Lake City have a very like champagne-like feeling.
Yeah, we try. I mean, cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
You know, you do a great job. Okay, before we go, I just want to mention that the Lake City cider world is expanding.
It is. Yes.
Tell us about Darty.
Yeah. So we are fortunate enough. We have a space that's right next to us, basically in the same building, that opened up, and we decided to kind of dip our toes into beer.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And so it's really, 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 really new, but you can check it out here in Portland Street. So you can have beer, you can come to the tap room and try the Red Sky, or take a bottle. It would be a perfect gift.
Perfect gift. Great for sharing, great for the table. A wine alternative, if you will.
All right, well, here's to new things in cider,
Thank you.
new things in community, and we put all the information about Lake City Cider and the Nova Scotia Cider Association on our website to make it easy for you to find. In the meantime, we will turn the camera away, and maybe I will try this.